Right friends, welcome back to Learning Space. This is the 36th session, Comprehension and Vocabulary. As told yesterday, we are deliberating business line editorial of yesterday, and for Monday's discussion, it will be the Hindu editorial of today, Return to Normal. This talks about the monetary policy of Federal Reserve, the Central Bank of United States of America. We are going to deliberate on Monday about the monetary policies of advanced countries, and lot more aspects we are going to cover on the comprehension discussion of Monday. And last week I proposed one thing, that is with regard to the grammar one day as well as banking awareness current affairs one day. So, from April 1st onwards, we will devise this program like on Monday it will be exclusively English grammar. I will try to talk about most difficult aspects pertaining to tenses first, and then subsequently Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, these 3 days every week we will have comprehension ability discussion, and Friday it will be current affairs banking awareness. So, this schedule from April 1 we are going to follow Monday English grammar, and there we would like to explain some difficult aspects in a more practical way, not going into the aspects of what is noun, what is pronoun, those aspects I am not going to deal. I am going to deal how to understand English language from grammatical perspective. So, that will be discussed every Monday from April 1, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday will be comprehension ability, and Friday it will be current affairs banking awareness, which will be highly useful to all of you. So, that program we will start from April 1, and the second point is some students are asking about increasing the difficulty level. Once we reach 50th comprehension passage, this aspect will be kept in mind from 51st comprehension passage. Then another important aspect is some students are asking about frame the questions. After this passage is discussed, frame some 8 to 10 questions. This I think immediately we may not be able to incorporate, but I can assure you we will definitely try to implement this from at least from July 1st. Because we require some time, because we are tied up with other programs like civil services preliminary examination in June. So, we will try to implement from July 1st, especially questions to be incorporated along with passage, and this difficulty level that we will implement from 51st passage onwards. So, if these two things are implemented, probably you may not have anything to say as far as this comprehension is concerned, because we are going to implement English grammar every Monday from April 1, and difficulty level will also increase. So, subsequently you will enjoy these lectures much more than what you are doing now. So, another important aspect is, in addition to understanding the vocabulary, I am concentrating equally on economy, because if you have strong knowledge in economy, that will be highly beneficial while looking at English comprehension passages as well as interviews, and at the same time for the students preparing for civil services examination, that will be highly beneficial, having understanding of various economic terms, right. So, today this is with regard to slow flow. The editorial talks about this foreign portfolio investments, and at the same time there are several tailwinds which is supported Indian economy, and it also warns that in future these tailwinds will go away. So, India should be ready to attract more and more foreign direct investment, right. So, what exactly? Let us go ahead. Favorable global and domestic factors. Global factors, that means across the globe there are several favorable factors, and domestic factors have helped foreign portfolio flows until recently. So, this favorable global and domestic factors have helped foreign portfolio flows until recently. but the road ahead is rocky. The road ahead is difficult path. So far, domestic factors, global factors helped the flow of foreign portfolio flows, but the road ahead is rocky. Rocky means with difficult problems. So, here foreign portfolio investments, I explained umpteen number of times. Once again go through these things, because in any examination these things are very important to face any interview. So, here advanced countries, because their interest rates are less. I will tell you in a nutshell, advanced countries, because their interest rates are less, their returns are less. So, what they will do? They will try to invest their money in countries like India. So, here their interest rates or returns expected on shares much higher than those in comparison to foreign countries or developed countries. That is why they come to our markets so as to get arbitrage. Arbitrage means the difference in interest. You can call arbitrage or interest arbitrage. So, when the interest arbitrage is more than foreign investors, they will come and invest in Indian bonds, because in Indian bonds they will get interest of around 6 to 7%, whereas in USA it is much less. Sometimes what they will do? They will borrow money in USA and invest in Indian market. That is known as carry trade. They will borrow money in USA because interest rates are less, and they will invest in Indian market because to get interest differential advantage or to take interest arbitrage or to get more returns. This is known as carry trade, right? So, when excessive capital flows are there into our stock markets, then it may result in appreciation in currencies artificially. At the same time, asset bubbles may also take place and the reverse may also take place, that may lead to asset crashes sorry, and depreciation in currencies. Then foreign direct investment, this is establishing a company here, that is foreign direct investment. So, foreign direct investment is highly stable, and this editorial argues about the foreign portfolio flows may decline in future, and please concentrate on foreign direct investment. So, we talked about rocky. Rocky means difficult and with full of problems. The road ahead for several economies of European Union is going to be rocky. Several countries are into problems. Greece is one example, Spain, Portugal, these are also into problems. So, the road ahead for several economies of European Union is going to be rocky. So, the same word is used here, rocky. So, that means the road ahead is difficult for India also. It is ironical. What is irony? This word is used quite frequently. What is the meaning of irony? Irony is a situation in which something which was intended to have a particular effect, but opposite happened. I gave one example. She got through the most difficult IIT JEE examination. She got through IIT JEE examination, which is considered to be one of the difficult in the world. But the irony is she failed in intermediate or +2 examination. So, under such circumstances, this word irony is used. Why this is used here? It is ironical that India's stock, bond and currency markets should remain so resilient to US Federal Reserve's rate hikes in the last few months after throwing a taper tantrum at the very idea a couple of years ago. So, after comma, I will explain that a little while from now. First, look at this: bond currency markets should remain so resilient to the US Federal Reserve's rate hikes in the past few months. What is the meaning of it? Bond and currency markets should remain so resilient to the US Federal Reserve's rate hikes in the last few months. So, when US Federal Reserve decided to increase interest rates, they in fact increased it 2 times. So, in spite of increase in interest rates, the Indian markets are so resilient, they have not collapsed, in fact they gained. So, that is why he used ironical. Normally, when US Federal Reserve is increasing interest rates, then what will happen? Normally, investments from India will go away. Because of that, what will happen? Indian markets will collapse. So, it has not happened. That is why he used ironical. Here, when US Federal Reserve increased the interest rates, markets have not collapsed, but instead they gained. You see, since mid December, that means in December, Federal Reserve increased interest rates slightly, and 1 or 2 days ago, it now increased a little bit more. So, since mid December, when the Federal Reserve resumed its tightening, what is the meaning of this? Resumed its tightening means in the monetary policies, when the interest rates are increased, you have to call tightening monetary policy. When the interest rates are reduced, it is a loosening monetary policy or easy money policy. So, when the interest rates are increased, it is example of tightening monetary policy or tightened monetary policy. Here Federal Reserve is increasing the interest rates, that is why this word is used. So, when the Federal Reserve resumed its tightening, the S&P BSE index is up 11%. Sensex was up by 11%. Then the yield on the benchmark 10-year gilt means this government securities. Government securities are issued by Reserve Bank of India on behalf of central government. So, this 10-year benchmark, 10-year government securities up by 30 basis points. 30 basis points means 0.3%. So, they increased by 0.3% and the rupee has actually strengthened. Normally, when US Federal Reserve is increasing interest rates, then what will happen? Then the foreign portfolio flows will go away from our country and rupee will depreciate. But what happened? Actually, rupee strengthened from 67.4 to 65.8 to a dollar. So, the reverse happened. That is why he used ironical. So, irony is used when something intended has not happened, something reverse happened, there you have to use irony. So, here I explained what is the irony. Then he is comparing with something which happened 2-3 years ago. 2-3 years ago, after throwing a taper tantrum at the very idea a couple of years ago. So, at that time something happened. At that time the markets were in panicky situation, but now even Federal Reserve, after increasing the interest rates, markets in fact gained. That is why he used ironical. So, if you compare it with the situation of a couple of years ago because of taper tantrum. So, taper tantrum, what happened at that time? The markets collapsed. You cannot say collapsed, the markets in fact reduced in their indices because of a fear of this tapering of quantitative easing. But now what happened? Even after increasing the interest rates, here bond and currency markets gained in our country. So, that is why he used ironical. So, what happened 2 years ago now not happened, quite opposite happened. So, that is why he used ironical. So, this let us go ahead, taper tantrum. What is taper tantrum? Taper tantrum means all of you are familiar with Federal Reserve. Federal Reserve some time back started quantitative easing. What is quantitative easing? It will purchase bonds from the market, banks as well as financial institutions. It will purchase, in fact it purchased lot of bonds from the market and lot of money has flown into the market. In fact, dollar circulation will increase enormously in case of quantitative easing. But 2-3 years ago, Federal Reserve decided to reduce quantitative easing. Only with the statement of reducing quantitative easing at that time, in fact, markets were under panic. So, panic after hearing the news of tapering of quantitative easing is a taper tantrum. So, at the time markets were in panic after hearing the news about this easing of in fact tightening of quantitative easing or tapering of quantitative easing, but now in spite of Federal Reserve increasing the interest rates, here markets gained. So, this is opposite what happened. So, that is why he used ironical, right. Look at the next paragraph. In fact, the rupee broke through its long held barrier of 66 to a dollar on the eve of Wednesday's FOMC meeting. In view of the Wednesday's Federal Open Market Committee meeting, here rupee breached 66, or you can say rupee came to somewhere around 65.8 or so. So, rupee strengthened. Normally what happens? Normally when Federal Reserve increases interest rates, then normally rupee should depreciate, but it appreciated. All this despite foreign portfolio investors developing markedly cold feet about India. Here FOMC meeting means that is Federal Open Market Committee meeting, just like our Monetary Policy Committee meeting. And next one is despite. Despite means not influenced by something. Despite, that means not influenced by something. All this happened, all the markets gained despite foreign portfolio investors developing markedly cold feet about India in the last 6 months. In fact, foreign portfolio investors are withdrawing for the past 6 months, but our local markets gained. There are several reasons for it. In fact, they are mentioned in the same editorial. Subsequently, we will come to know about all those things. So, here what is meant by developing cold feet or getting cold feet? In the present context, getting cold feet is loss of confidence. Here foreign portfolio investors developed cold feet means they lost confidence. So, I gave one example. Governments always talk about reforming the education system, but several state governments have developed cold feet on the promised regulation to regulate the fee for admission to primary schools in private institutions. So, to suddenly become too frightened to do something you had already planned to do, that is getting cold feet. So, here loss of confidence also you can use this cold feet, right. So, here foreign portfolio investors, despite foreign portfolio investors losing confidence, developing cold feet means losing confidence about India. Despite this fact, then India's markets gained, right. FPIs have pulled out around $6 billion from Indian bonds and around $2 billion from stocks since October 2016. So, for the past 6 months, in Indian bonds as well as stocks, FPIs have pulled out. In spite of that, despite that, our markets gained. Then financial year 17 promises to be the worst year as far as foreign investments in bonds is concerned. So, financial year 17 also likely to be the worst year for foreign investments in bonds, right. So, look at the next paragraph. Next paragraph is a fortuitous. So, fortuitous, what is the meaning? Fortuitous means, what is meant by fortune? Fortune means because of luck you are getting something. So, fortuitous means happening by chance rather than intention. So, happening just by chance. So, here you see the collapse of the opponents is a fortuitous opportunity for the ruling parties in several states in our country. Fortuitous means more than hard work, it is by luck. So, under those circumstances, you have to use fortuitous. So, fortuitous combination of global and local tailwinds has helped shield domestic markets from a sharp correction in recent months. So, the combination of the lucky combination, fortuitous combination of global and local tailwinds. In economy, quite often we use headwinds, tailwinds. What is headwind? Headwind means if something is opposite. When you are going on a bicycle, when wind is in opposite direction, you will face a lot of difficulty in going on the bicycle. So, if the winds are from behind, then your job becomes very easy. So, in economy, tailwinds means the situations which support economy. Headwinds means the situations which oppose economic growth. So, tailwinds means which supports economy. Headwinds means which oppose. So, here he is talking about tailwinds, global and local tailwinds. Tailwinds means there are some features which supported us as far as some macroeconomic features are concerned. So, tailwinds has helped shield domestic markets. Shield means helped protecting domestic markets from a sharp correction in recent months. So, in recent months from sharp correction, there were several factors which protected our markets from sharp correction. Though foreign portfolio investors withdrawn billions of dollars, but there are some other factors both globally and domestically which helped our markets. Domestic mutual funds have seen sustained inflows, allowing them to buy stocks when FPIs sold. So, mutual funds, several people started investing in mutual funds and that sustained inflows allowing them to buy stocks. When foreign portfolio investors are selling stocks, then those were purchased by mutual funds, right. So, here what is meant by mutual fund? Mutual fund is some professionally managed fund house will maintain those investments, and here small investors like you and me will pool up money with professionally managed fund house, and in turn they invest in companies by applying their brain. So, that is mutual fund. Mutual funds are regulated by Securities and Exchange Board of India. These things please do not forget. So, money is collected, basically we pull up the money with the professionally managed fund house and subsequently they invest by applying their brain. Here examples: Reliance Mutual Fund, UTI Mutual Fund, these are all examples of mutual funds. Then banks and insurers flush with other reason he is telling. One is, previously he told, when foreign portfolio investors sold stocks, then they were purchased by mutual funds. Then at the same time, banking institutions and insurance institutions flush with one-off inflows during demonetization. During demonetization, one-off inflows. Why he used one-off inflows? Because demonetization cannot happen always. It is one-time exercise. That's why he used. Banks and insurers flush with one-off inflows during demonetization have aggressively bought government securities and bonds. That prevented bond prices from collapsing due to FPI sales. We have already discussed FPIs have sold bonds in our market and have gone away by taking money, but those bonds were purchased by banks and insurance institutions because they were flush with a lot of money because of demonetization. This is one of inflow, right. So, here aggressively, what is aggressively? Aggressively means ready to attack or confront, to behave in a determined and forcible way. So, determined way. Look at Reliance Jio. The aggressive behavior of market penetration by Reliance Jio has forced Airtel and Vodafone to go for a massive restructuring and acquisition of smaller telecom companies. All of you are familiar with Vodafone, Airtel, they are acquiring other telecom companies, they are going for massive restructuring. This is because of aggressive behavior of Reliance Jio, right. So, here banks and insurers, because of lot of money, because of demonetization, they aggressively bought government securities and bonds, preventing bond prices for collapsing due to FPI sales. The rupee on its part has been supported by India's unusually strong balance of payments position with moderate oil prices. Oil prices were moderate because we are importing almost 70 to 80% of our requirements. If oil price is very high, what will happen? Our import bill will increase. If our import bill increases, what will happen? Then our current account deficit will increase. But moderate oil prices all supported us. So, you can say moderate oil prices are another example of tailwinds. And low gold imports, gold imports, if they are more, what happens? When gold imports are more, then lot of foreign exchange will go away. So, low gold imports, moderate oil prices, they pushed the current account deficit to less than 1% of GDP, right. So, current account deficit was pushed to less than 1% of GDP. Current account means, please understand, trade in physical goods, that means exports minus imports, it is always negative for us. Then services, it is always positive for us, because we are quite good in services. Our software sector is basically responsible for plus in services. This is minus because our imports are more than exports. Then primary income, this primary income is minus. This is the factor income because of multinational companies in our country. Multinational companies in our country are more, and every year they take away profits, royalties. So, that is negative for our country. And secondary income is the income which is sent by our brothers and sisters staying in America and Gulf countries to us. These are known as foreign remittances. So, these four are current account. We have deficit in current account, which is not much, which reduced drastically. The reasons he explained now, moderate oil prices, at the same time reduction in gold imports. And what is balance of payments? Balance of payments is the sum total of current account and capital account. Here, statement of economic transactions between the residents of the country and the rest of the world is balance of payments. Balance of payments include current account, capital account. Our position is quite comfortable with regard to balance of payments, please do not forget, right. So, we discussed two important aspects here, balance of payments, current account deficit. Let us go back to the passage. It says moderate oil prices and less gold imports pushed our current account deficit to less than 1% of GDP. Global weakness has prompted a record foreign direct investment surge into India. Though foreign portfolio investment has gone away by $6 billion or so, but the global weakness has prompted a record FDI surge into India in search of higher growth. So, here record foreign direct investment surged into India, but going forward at least some of these tailwinds are likely to evaporate. If you go ahead, some of these positive factors, tailwinds means positive factors, are likely to evaporate. So, here after learning about current account deficit and balance of payments, surge means sudden or large increase, Recently, there was a news report that our foreign direct investment surged by 18% last year, right. Then one-off flows he is talking about, these tailwinds are likely to evaporate. That means, whatever the positive factors of last year, they are likely to evaporate. He is talking about what are the factors which are likely to evaporate. One-off flows into equity and bond market from demonetization will normalize as cash supply improves. So, one-off flows because of demonetization into equity and bond markets. What is equity market? Equity market is when you are investing in shares, that is equity market. That means you will get ownership in the company. What is bond market? When you are giving some money to a company, when you are lending some money to a company, that is a part of bond market. So, equity market, or you can say equity instruments, bond markets, or you can say debt instruments. So, one-off flows into equity and bond markets from demonetization will normalize as cash supply improves. As cash supply improves, the advantages or the tailwinds which we have got because of one-off flows of demonetization will evaporate gradually. Gold demand may revive. Revive means to bring back something to life is revive. At present, our textile exports are falling drastically, and now Bangladesh and Vietnam are racing ahead in textile exports. And now the need of the hour is revival of the textile industry with the modernization is the need of the hour. So, going ahead, gold demand may revive. Last year it reduced, but it may again pick up. Then oil prices may have come off their highs in recent days, but they could bounce back. So, oil prices, they come off from their highs after reaching some high, they reduced, but again they could bounce back. So, again oil prices may increase, and with the outlook for Indian exports turning gloomy, Indian exports, the picture is gloomy picture. So, analysts are expecting the CAD to spike by 50% in financial year 18. So, CAD in comparison to last year current account deficit, it is expected to increase by 50%, right. So, here spike means a sharp increase, right. Spike is to be used when there is a sharp increase. So, looking at all these factors, this Indian exports are also gloomy, gold may be revived, gold demand may be revived, and all these factors will increase current account deficit by 50% next year. So, gloomy means not much hope for the future. He is talking about exports are gloomy, the meaning is not much hope for the future. So, IMF predicted gloomy outlook for several economies in the European Union. Then spike means higher price or amount. When something is increased drastically, then you have to use spike. He used spike to indicate that current account deficit is expected to increase by 50% in financial year 18. So, what is the meaning of this paragraph? The meaning of the paragraph is everything is not going to be rosy. The tailwinds which became advantageous to our economy till recent times may vanish in the next financial year. More importantly, the anomalous situation of 0 to negative interest rates in many developed economies due to the easy money policies of the past is already reversing. So, anomalous situation, why he used this word? If something is contrary to the normal, then you have to use anomalous. So, here anomalous means deviating from what is a standard. So, if something is deviating from something standard, then you have to use anomalous. So, several advanced countries are creating an anomalous situation in their monetary policies with negative interest rates, abysmally low interest rates and helicopter money. So, anomalous means if something is contrary to the standard practice, you have to use anomalous. So, more importantly, the anomalous situation, why he used anomalous? Because contrary to the normal monetary policies for the past few years, several central banks have resorted to 0 to negative interest rates in many developed economies due to easy money policies of the past is already reversing. So, the anomalous situation of negative interest rates, 0 interest rates, easy money policies are reversed now, are being reversing. So, they are already started reversing. This spells trouble for portfolio flows into India. When they are increasing interest rates, then portfolio investments to our country will be reduced naturally. Why they are coming? I told you at the beginning, they are coming only because the interest rate differential is there. When they are increasing interest rates, the interest arbitrage will come down, and because of that they may not come to India. So, this spells trouble for foreign portfolio flows into India. With the US economy strengthening, US economy is strengthening and the Federal Reserve looking to hike rates through 2017, already they increased interest rate. So, further they may increase. The temptation will be strong for foreign investors to reallocate money from volatile emerging markets back to the US. When US increases their interest rates, then instead of investing in volatile emerging markets are normally volatile, the currencies are normally volatile. Volatile means, what is the meaning of volatile? Volatile means likely to change quite often, suddenly and unexpectedly. Normally the situation in developing countries is volatile. If you look at the markets, here you see after the advent of Donald Trump, the global outlook is quite uncertain, primarily because of volatile nature of Donald Trump. So, volatile nature of Donald Trump means this is unexpected and sudden behavior of Donald Trump. So, volatile means unexpected or not stable. In that context this word is used. So, instead of investing in developing countries or emerging markets, the foreign portfolio investors may like to invest in advanced countries once they increase interest rates, right. So, look at the last paragraph. The shrinking interest rate differential, I have already told you, the shrinking interest rate differential between India and the US will also do away with easy arbitrage returns they earned through carry trades. So far what they are doing? They are bringing money to our country. Here interest rate is high, their interest rate is less. So, they are bringing their money here. So, that is why they are getting money because of interest rate difference. So, that is arbitrage. What is carry trade? Carry trade means they are borrowing money in the markets where interest rates are less, suppose in America, and they invest that money in our country. So, to get arbitrage, they are resorting to carry trade. So, that will go away once US increases interest rates, because when US increases interest rates, the interest rate differential will come down. So, here arbitrage is basically the practice of buying something such as shares, currency or bonds in one market and selling them in another market where you can get a higher price at the same time. So, bluntly you just understand arbitrage. In USA, suppose the interest rate is 2%, in India, suppose the interest rate is 6%, the interest difference of 4% is interest arbitrage. And carry trade is what they will do? They will borrow money in America at 2% interest, they will invest in Indian bond markets because they will get 6% interest here. So, resorting to this type of trade by borrowing money in low yielding currencies like America and investing in a country like India is known as carry trade because of interest rate arbitrage, but here the risk is currency depreciation. If rupee depreciates, they will be at loss. So, this is the biggest risk of investing in the emerging markets, right. So, here the shrinking interest rate differential between India and the US will also do away with the easy arbitrage returns they earned through carry trades. Record pullouts from Indian bonds, in the last few months we have just now discussed, some $6 billion or so they pulled out from Indian market, are a strong reminder that this rate differential matters as much if not more to portfolio investors as the India story. So, here what is important to note is this record pullout from Indian bonds in the last few months are a stark reminder that this rate differential matters so much. When the rate differential is reduced because USA is increasing interest rates, then that interest arbitrage will go away and they will pull out money. Already they started pulling out money for the past 6 months, and this is a stark reminder, or you can say it is a strong reminder. So, stark means strong or rigid, right. So, if you go back to the passage, this says that while there is little that can be done about this, we cannot do anything about this because foreign portfolio investments are already volatile. When foreign countries are increasing interest rates, they are bound to go away. While there is little that can be done about this, the center must redouble its efforts. But what center can do? Center can redouble its efforts to keep FDI flows coming. So, in India there are so many opportunities. So, what the center must do is it has to increase its efforts for foreign direct investment flows into our country, because foreign direct investment flows are more stable and they come when the internal situation of our country is quite good. Then this will hold the key to market and rupee stability in the year ahead. So, the final conclusion is the tailwinds which supported us during the past 1 year are going to evaporate. No one can stop that. What the government can do is, government should create a mechanism, government should redouble its efforts to keep foreign direct investment flows coming to our country, and this will hold the key to market and rupee stability in the year ahead, that is financial year 2017-18. So, the crux of the matter is, please concentrate on foreign direct investment flows that will save the country during 2017-18 from shocks in the stock markets as well as currency markets, right. So, Monday we are going to have discussion on this return to normal. This is about the US Federal Reserve's monetary policy which took place 2 days ago, right friends. With this, let us conclude today's comprehension ability discussion, and let us meet once again on Monday at 12 noon, and as I have already announced, from 1st April the pattern will change slightly. Monday is grammar, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday it will be comprehension, and Friday it will be current affairs, banking awareness. Have a nice day. Thank you.